Someone thought it was a good idea to merge a classic projector with a gaming console, resulting in this console projector. But is it really that good of a projector? Is it worth the price? Well, let me show you everything so you can decide for yourself. You can find the projector on AliExpress for around $60. You can also use a discount coupon to get a better deal. It took about 12 days to arrive from China. Inside this box, you'll find your projector. When we open it, the projector comes well protected. It's relatively simple and lightweight. It doesn't feel cheap, but it definitely doesn't feel premium either. Here's a focus wheel, a built-in speaker, and small adjustable legs that work as a stand so you can change the angle. The downside is that you can't mount it on a tripod. On the back, we have the ports, an auxiliary output in case you want to connect external speakers, an HDMI input for your console, PC, or whatever you want, a USB port, a micro SD slot, and the power button. Here we have a smaller box with the accessories. There's the power cable. The remote control feels of decent quality and requires AAA batteries, which are not included. In a small bag, well protected, we find the first controller. It has a PlayStation-style design, but feels quite cheap, more like a toy controller. To be honest, it's very made in China and also requires two AAA batteries. In the same bag where the controller came, we also find a 64GB micro SD card loaded with games. There's another bag with the second controller, since you can play two-player games, and inside that second bag, besides the controller, we also find the USB receiver. This is the receiver you'll plug into the projector. The controllers pair automatically, and with just one receiver, you can connect both controllers. The micro SD card includes all the games. The projector can be adjusted at different angles and has automatic keystone correction. If you prefer, you can also adjust it manually, but most of the time the automatic correction is more than enough. You can even recalibrate the sensor for a more optimal adjustment. The projector's brightness is said to be 120 ANSI lumens, real lumens. What I can tell you is that the brightness was very acceptable. As you can see here, the room was completely lit. It was a perfectly sunny afternoon, and the only thing keeping the light from coming in at full strength was the curtain. From 1 meter away, it projected an image of about 42 inches, and honestly, even though a lot of light was coming in, the image looked perfect. I'm not saying it looked okay or just decent, nothing like that. It looked perfectly fine. To be honest, I was surprised, especially considering the price. From a distance of about 2.5 meters, you could already project around 80 to 90 inches. Obviously, at that point, sunlight affected the image more, but it was still relatively enjoyable. Of course, if you're in a completely dark room, the quality improves significantly, and you can project up to 100 inches, and it's truly enjoyable. The resolution is 720p, and when you project, say, an 80-inch image, you can notice some small pixels. But once you're sitting at a distance, enjoying your movie or show, believe me, you don't even notice them. It's a great experience. For example, I set up a small drive-in theater, and even though the area wasn't completely dark because of the streetlights, it was still very enjoyable. Even Mr. Cat was enjoying the movie. Another advantage of this projector is that it has Bluetooth, so you can connect all kinds of devices. For instance, I connected a speaker that I placed inside the car. On another occasion, I connected a soundbar I was testing for another video, and that made the experience feel just like a real cinema, a giant screen and super powerful sound. Even though it's a budget projector, your experience will be good. One interesting feature I found for certain scenarios is that thanks to its design, you can project onto your bedroom ceiling. That way, you can lie down comfortably in bed, completely horizontal, and enjoy the projection above you. As for the built-in speaker, it sounds about the same as a low-end smartphone. Obviously, there's no stereo sound, and although the volume is decent, it distorts and sounds very flat. I recommend connecting a Bluetooth speaker. It sounds much better. As for the projector's operating system, it's Android, but it's a version very similar to Android TV. You can easily control everything with the remote or even with a gamepad. It comes with a few basic apps pre-installed, including 3 app stores for installing new apps: Google Play Store, Qiji app, and Aptoide. In fact, Netflix must be installed through Aptoide. It's the only way to get it on this projector, and the Netflix app only works with a mouse. It sometimes glitches, but most of the time, it works fine. That's not the case with the YouTube app, for example, which works perfectly and can be controlled just like on Android TV. You can also install others like Magisk TV, HBO, Disney+, or any streaming app you use. It also includes pre-installed apps for screen mirroring, so you can connect your phone's display to the projector. If you want to connect another device, you also have the HDMI option, for example, to plug in a console, a computer, or a laptop. But now, let's talk about the most important part of this projector: gaming. As mentioned earlier, since the projector runs Android, you can install games that support controllers, and if they're relatively lightweight, you'll be able to play them without any issues. In fact, it comes with Beach Buggy Racing pre-installed by default, and it runs perfectly. As you know, there are many games on the Play Store with full controller support that are relatively light, and you can play them here without any problem. But the real highlight of this projector is, of course, the emulators. As soon as you turn it on, the first app that appears is the Games app. Open it and you'll find all the consoles available to play. Inside each console, you'll find a list of games. Heavier consoles like PlayStation 1 include around 100 games. PSP has about 50, while some arcade systems have up to 3,000 games. Within this massive list, you'll find many popular titles, including some modified versions. You can also add your own games if you want. That's what the microSD slot is for. Just connect it to your computer and add any game you like. Now, let me tell you how it performs. Let's go in order first. MAME. These are arcade-style games, and most of them are 2D. You won't have any problems here, and about 99% of the games are multiplayer, so you can make great use of both controllers. Next is Game Boy Advance. You'll find a lot of really popular games here, and since most are also 2D, there's no problem at all. That said, all of these games are single-player. The NES has around 3,000 games, and they all work perfectly since most are 2D. You'll even find some weird modified versions of classic titles. CPS-1 is another arcade system. About 90% of the games are multiplayer, and since almost all are 2D, they run beautifully. Now we get to PlayStation 1. I'd say this is the best console you can play on this projector. The PS1 has a very large catalog, some single-player, some multiplayer, and most are in 3D. The projector runs this console perfectly. Honestly, if someone sold me a projector with only PlayStation 1 games, I'd be happy. It brings back my whole childhood, and I know there are hundreds of games with really interesting adventures, great stories, and even some multiplayer ones that are totally worth trying. And best of all, no lag at all. Another 3D console, the Nintendo 64. This one has always been tricky and almost always causes issues. No matter if you have a NASA-level PC, it usually has visual glitches or some lag. Not all games are compatible either. Let's say the simpler games will run relatively well. They don't usually lag much, but overall, it lags more than the PlayStation 1. Now for the PSP. There are some excellent games here, but honestly, most of them will lag, even the simpler ones. For example, Vice City is practically unplayable. It lags way too much. Some others might be playable, like fighting games with simpler environments. Those you can definitely enjoy. Even FIFA Street or some adventure games with simpler graphics might work fine. It's kind of a gamble. Some games will run great, others terribly. Neo Geo is another arcade system that won't give you any trouble. Most of its games are 2D, mostly multiplayer, and it has a huge catalog, easily over 3,000 titles. Game Boy Color has a library of over 7,000 games. They all run perfectly with zero lag, but they're all single player, and since it's such an old console, most games don't look great anymore. This one's more for retro game lovers or for playing that one title you used to enjoy back in the day and reliving those good memories. Sega also has a great variety of games. You'll find plenty of fighting games, racing games, and even some RPGs, plus lots of multiplayer options. Most are 2D, but occasionally you'll find a 3D one, and those do lag. The 2D ones, though, run without any problems. IGS is a console. I honestly don't even know what it is, but I found some really good games on it. They're all arcade-style games, mostly 2-player and mostly 2D, and they look really nice. You'll definitely find plenty of great options to play here. On the Game Boy, you'll find around 7,000 games. They all work perfectly, but they're quite simple and all single-player titles. On the Super Famicom, everything also runs flawlessly. Most games there are multiplayer, and you'll discover some real gems that will definitely bring back childhood memories, games that are truly worth playing, many of which support multiple players. Lastly, the CPS-2 features arcade machine games, but here you'll find titles that are slightly more modern or visually visually improved, since these are arcade console games. All of them are 2-player and of excellent quality. However, because the graphics are enhanced, some in 2, 5D, or with better effects, you might experience a bit of lag in certain scenes, but it quickly smooths out. Overall, the game quality is a solid 10 out of 10. And that's everything about this projector console. If you ask me whether it's worth it, absolutely, 100%. As a projector, it's a great option with excellent quality, and the fact that it also works as a console is a huge plus. If you want something for a barbecue with friends, it's a perfect choice that will give you great experiences. It's a very versatile projector that'll bring fun in all kinds of settings. The price, in my opinion, is not exaggerated at all. There are much more expensive projectors with worse quality. If you're interested, you'll find the link below in the description along with some discount coupons. Let me know in the comments what you think about the price, what you think about the projector, and whether you think it's worth it or not. That's it from me. See you in the next one with Boofarok.